Hi, thanks for watching Peter's Food Adventures. Today we are making Paska Easter Bread. I'll get to these about halfway through the video and I'll show you what I do with these to make them. And this is, look, not a difficult recipe. My recipe is a bit different because I don't really like raisins. It's quite often to put raisins in there. Sometimes I have put dried blueberries or dried currants. But my favorite way to eat them is with white chocolate, cranberry, and macadamia nuts. I think you guys are gonna love this recipe, and it's a bit more modern that I think the kids will enjoy as well. Okay, so to get started, I've got 1 cup of warm milk. Don't want it too hot because it's gonna kill the yeast. I'm putting 1.5 tablespoons of yeast in there. And a tablespoon of sugar. I just try to dissolve it first for a little bit before I'm gonna add some flour in there. Now I'm just gonna add about a cup of flour. Not about, exactly. And that's it. So now I'm just gonna cover it with some cling wrap, and we're gonna let this sit for about 30 minutes till it starts to bubble and looks nice and active, ready to be added to the rest of the mix. Okay, I'm adding 3 eggs. Now, we're going to be adding sugar, melted butter, sour cream, and, of course, vanilla. And we're gonna mix it in. Okay, so now we can see it's doubled in size and the yeast is really active and bubbly and it's ready to be added in to the mix. There you go. There's the yeast mixture. Nice and yeasty. All right, so now you see it's a very sticky dough. It's almost like a batter. And like you can add more flour, that's okay, but just make it a little more dense. You can take this out now and knead it on the table with a bit more flour. I like this consistency. We're gonna cover this, put it in a warm spot for 1.5 to 2 hours. Before we go to the next step. Okay, so now that has risen. It's been 2 hours. Look at that, beautiful. Now we just punch it down, is what it's called. This is very sticky. Now I'm gonna be adding white chocolate, some cranberries, and macadamia nuts. Just Just a matter of mixing this through. Now there's a few ways to do it. This is super sticky. So if you're gonna do it by hands, oil your hands and you could kind of knead it together, then your hands with the oil won't be as stuck to that. You can mix it with a wooden spoon like I am now. Or pop the dough hook back on and let the dough hook do a quick mix for you. Okay, so the next thing you need to prepare is your baking molds, your baking tins. Now, you can use, yes, this is a pineapple can of pineapple juice. Obviously, it's empty. You can peel the label off. Some people use old coffee tins because they're skinny and they're cylindrical. They do sell specific round, like a springform pan that can be used. What I ended up buying was these lovely ones. They are silicone, so they are super easy to make. Inside, there's a little bump that has Christos Voskres. It doesn't really translate to the side of the bread, certainly not in my experience, but certainly doesn't hurt. Very Eastery, saying Christ is risen. If you are using the old tin can method, just remember you'll need to use baking paper. So line the bottom and the sides with baking paper. Let it stick out for at least a 1/4 inch or a little higher, just because if it rises over, it's going to be a bit of mushroom top and it's going to be a bit harder to take off. It's going to stick to the side of the tin. I'm just using regular canola oil. Don't use olive oil spray. And I'm just going to spray the insides of my silicone tins or grease them up so it doesn't stick and it makes it really easy. Okay, so now this is all well and truly mixed. Now you can cover it again and let it rise another time before you put it in here, but that would make the rising kind of 3 times plus, which probably you don't need. So I'm gonna spray, put into the tins, and then we're gonna let them rise before we put them in the oven. See what I was saying earlier? You've got that Christos Voskres inside. I don't know if you can see it. This is super sticky, so this is what I'm doing. I'm spraying my hands with oil. This is probably no one else does it this way. Maybe it's just me, but it makes it easier not to do that. To divvy it up. Now really you kind of want to go about halfway. You don't want to go more than 2/3 of the way up. Every pan size is different, so you might have 3 smaller ones, 1 bigger one. You have several options. You can double the recipe and mix it in a big bowl if you like and make more. And now we just cover it and we're gonna put it in a warm place for it to raise. All right, so to make the icing, I need an egg white. And you're just gonna beat this until stiff peaks form. And now we're gonna add some icing sugar. And I'm just gonna add about 1/2 a teaspoon of vanilla. Now, it might not look as white as a recipe without vanilla, but I just can't get this flavor out. I just love it. All right, so now it's time. See, I told you you'd get that little Christos Voskres showing up. This one kind of split, not as good, but this one turned out a little nicer. And just going to be adding the glaze. It's a bit thicker than the regular glaze, but this one tastes so much better. Now you could make it pour down the sides a little more if you like, or not, it's up to you. I like the thicker glaze because it's a bit more forgiving to hide any expansions or cracks in the bread. And then you just take some sprinkles. Just to add a bit of color. And that's it. That's how you make white chocolate, macadamia, and cranberry Paska bread. Just in time for Easter. It's the modern take. Your whole family is gonna love this updated recipe. Remember to hit like, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.